Today's guest sells his product on the shelves of Walmart, Home Depot, and many other retailers, and he's grown his online business exponentially along the way. He discusses how he originally got into brick and mortar retailers and gives some great advice for dealing with the inherent hardships and struggles that often come with being an entrepreneur.
Are you looking for new ways to make your sales grow? You've tried other podcasts, but they don't seem to know. Harvest the growth potential of your product or service as we share stories and strategies that'll make your competitors nervous. Now, here's the host of the Harvest Growth Podcast, John LeClaire.
Welcome back to the show. Today, I'm super excited to be speaking with Mark Lieblein, who's the founder of ChargeTab. You can see their products at ChargeTab, ChargeTab as in boy.com. We'll put it all in the show notes, of course. We'll talk more about it, and you'll get to know the product today. But first of all, this is a super cool product and a great story behind it. So I want to welcome you to the show, Mark.
Hey, John, how are you?
Doing great. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Take the time. I know you're super busy, but I want to talk about your product first. We'll get into some of the fun stories behind it in a few minutes as well. But for our audience's sake, can you share with us, what is the ChargeTab?
Yeah, so, they say motherhood, necessity is a motherhood of invention. There was no product on the market that was pre-charged, lightweight, ready to go when you needed it, inexpensive. And I just came up with something that I could give my 12-year-old son, who I'd be dropping off at school at 7:30 in the morning with a dead phone, knowing he would never get through the day. And it's been a roller coaster for the last 6 years. A lot of wins, a lot of losses, huge successes, and a lot of heartbreaks, but it's been a fun ride.
And so it's a little different than what people might be thinking of a portable charger that you plug into a wall outlet, you charge and reuse over and over again. How is this different?
Power banks are awesome. They have power banks that'll boost your car today. They're fantastic. Trying to convince a 12-year-old boy to walk around with the brick and the cable, it's never going to happen. I tried. Didn't work. So, having something that's pre-charged and ready to go, that's lightweight and inexpensive, again, is all those key attributes that set us apart from a traditional power bank. Not having to remember to bring it with you or have it charged and throw it in your bag, but just having, the little, I say, condom type product with you at all times, lightweight and ready to go whenever you need it.
And I love it, I'm a little bit older than 12, but I like the idea of keeping one in your backpack. Like when I travel, for example, as you said, like if I remember to have a power bank charged, if I plug it in before I go, great. Although it's really big and heavy and bulky, etc. So I love that you can just keep this in a side pocket. You can keep one in your glove compartment in your car, always have one around you when you don't have that power bank, you have nothing to plug into or charge or, plug the charge into. So it's always available to get that emergency charge so your phone's never completely dead on you. You've always got that ability to use it. And as you talk about with 12-year-olds, to check in with us as parents. But, for us as well in the business world, we got to have our phones with us at all times. And when that goes dead, which can happen quickly sometimes, having a backup or a way to charge it almost instantaneously or plug right in and get to use it, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, we like to say we're selling the cheapest life insurance policy on the market. That peace of mind to know that you're never going to be stuck in a situation, whether it's 2 o'clock in the morning and your car won't start, you got to call an Uber, get a cab, whether it's in your glove box because your battery is dead. With a 2-year shelf life, it's really always there when you need it and ready to go when you need it. Anyone with a smartphone should have one with them at all times, whether in their purse, their briefcase, their bag, fishing boat, golf bag, whatever it is. Got to have one with you because you always got to stay connected.
Agreed. Yeah, it's more and more important every day. An interesting thing about the ChargeTab is you refer to it as a green product, which it may be the only lithium-ion based battery in the world that can actually lay claim to being called green, because there are some environmental issues with big batteries. And we talk in the news about car batteries and things like that, but this truly is a green product. I had to get the explanation from you first to really understand that. So I'd love for you to share with our audience and explain what that means. How is this a green battery?
We're extremely proud of the green aspect of the product. Having kids and wanting to leave them in a world that's better than the one I inherited. Dealing in batteries is something that I knew that there had to be a scenario where the green aspect was of super importance for us. We don't manufacture any new lithium. Every battery we use is sourced from landfills. We've upcycled every single battery. Anytime a ChargeTab is purchased, there is effectively one less battery destroying the planet in the landfills. When you're done with it, you go on ChargeTab.com, fill out the return form, and we send you a shipping label free of charge. It's all prepaid. And you could send it back to us and get 10% off your next purchase. So we're extremely proud of the fact that we have that lithium policy, and the shell is a paper shell. It's not plastic. It's proprietary paper that we developed, almost like an egg carton. And we're very proud of the environmental aspect of our product, which is insane when you think about the fact that it is a lithium battery that is good for the environment.
I assume this is a correct way to state this, but the more that ChargeTabs are used, really the less frequently non-green traditional lithium-ion batteries are used, right? So every usage actually improves the environment, right? Because you're, like you said, you're pulling them out of landfills that otherwise could sit there forever, right? As far as I understand it, it's not just not bad; it's actually helping in a very good way, which is fantastic.
Yeah, we're very proud of that. And you know, when people see us at trade shows or they see our product around, they immediately think that, you know, this is the an amazing attribute for a product such as ours. You know, because, you know, you think of power banks, they're in those, you know, PVC plastic and the lithium battery, and while they'll last some time, I'm sure you got a drawer full of dead power banks that you forget to charge and are just sitting there.
And you mentioned, or we talked about a couple of uses, right? It's the 12-year-old son that's stuck at school and never has a power bank or a cord with them to charge. I mentioned the business trips. Or what are some of the other more common uses of the ChargeTab?
Well, you know, we like to say giving a ChargeTab is giving the gift of power. Anyone and everyone could use our product, whether you're hiking, traveling, you know, on a golf course, at a stadium. We do a lot of business with the NFL, with the NHL, with the professional leagues that are looking for a solution, whether they're at festivals or casinos or sporting events. A safety product, a prepper product, just a gift that everyone would be happy to get, whether you're, you know, 3 or 90. Everyone's got a smartphone. Everyone's got a device, whether they're AirPods, GPS, a phone. It works everywhere. It works in everything and in every scenario. You never want to be without one because, you know, you never want to be off the grid.
So, all right, we've established it's a great product. We both love it. I'm sure our audience does too. But one of the difficulties with a product like the ChargeTab is it's so unique and different from other things out there. You know, it looks like a power bank in some way, in that it plugs in your phone, right? In that respect, right? It has some similar functionality to some other things, but it is completely different. And that presents a problem of getting the word out, right? It's people aren't necessarily looking for your product because they have, those that haven't heard of it yet, they have no idea that it even exists as a category, let alone as a brand. So how did you originally grow awareness and turn this into, you know, in the early days, a successful launch, given these constraints that it's, you know, it is unique and different, that people aren't searching for it actively?
You know, in 2024, to say that you have really no competition, it's unheard of. It doesn't really exist. And, you know, a lot of people think, well, that's fantastic. You know, you're alone in the market. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting. Competition is good. Competition helps carry that load and get the word out for your category. We don't really fit into any category. We're not really a power bank. We are an emergency product that, you know, provides power when you need it. And, you know, it took us a long time to find the right category, to find the right niche, whether it's doing our advertising or marketing. It's finding the right placement for ChargeTab as an impulse item. I think we found our niche and we found our, you know, our wheelhouse of where people love to see us, where most of our success is, you know, right by the energy drinks that, you know, will fuel your body. This will fuel your phone. But, you know, being alone in the market, as mentioned, has its, you know, dual problem of nobody knows what a ChargeTab is and nobody even knows the product exists, which gives a huge opportunity, but at the same time, you've got to do a lot of the lifting yourself. It costs a lot of money, for sure.
One of the things I learned certainly started a belief early on in my career is the benefit of a descriptive trademark, right? And I know any lawyers that are listening are going to completely disagree with this statement, where you think of ChargeTab, you get what it is, you get what it does, basically, at least by the name, as opposed to some fanciful terms, the word they often use for trademarkability, et cetera. It's a little less strong, right, when you don't have a fanciful word, but it helps to overcome when you've got a brand new product, especially in a new category. If you can be somewhat descriptive and still get a trademark on it, right, get protection behind it, but have some description within your name that makes sense, it's more memorable, right? So this is a product that people are not searching for. They may come across it in a video ad or see it on a retail store shelf or at the checkout aisle and then forget about it, right? So it's like, what was that? Then they go back and Google. The more descriptive it is, that's one way that I've found to really help, I think. So I love the name, right? But first of all, is ChargeTab, you get it to some extent, right? You start the story at least, you remember it once you've seen it the first time and start to love the product and really see what it does. Now, I mentioned the checkout aisle, you did too. So part of your success currently is selling in Home Depot stores and Walmart and other brick and mortar as well. But these are two big brand names that really everybody, all of our listeners know. How did they originally hear about your product? That's a big, can be a game-changing experience getting onto store shelves, and especially in those particular stores. So how did that originally happen?
Yeah. So not having a sales team, not having huge bandwidth as a startup, as a bootstrapper, having a unique product like this, they found me in both cases. Both category buyers found the product online, doing the limited ads that we were doing and the socials that we were doing. They absolutely loved it. They got it right away. They loved the product right away, and not having competitors, set us apart for their categories. They're presented with chocolate bars and gum and all the other, confectionery products that are in their category. This is a new sales channel for them, or a new product that is not cannibalizing existing business. This is creating a new channel almost for their division, which again in 2024 is unheard of. So it's not like they're replacing one candy bar for another. Introducing ChargeTab to the planogram is something that increased their revenue and foot traffic, and it's just been a win-win scenario. It's been fantastic, and they've both retailers have been wonderful to work with. Being a bootstrapped small guy has its challenges, but at the same time, they've been wonderful to work with and great partners thus far.
And you kind of alluded to the power of uniqueness from a retail level as well. And I'd like to drill down a little bit further on that with at least my comments. So one thing, if this were a traditional power bank that was, maybe charged twice as fast or whatever, had some unique benefit, to sell that into Walmart or Home Depot or any other major retailer, you or your salesperson sits down with them, explains how this is different, better, margins are better, it's going to grow so much, et cetera. But at the end of the day, most of those purchases and most things that they buy at retail stores, buyers, right, that they bring into their stores, they are replacing something else, right? They've got limited shelf space, et cetera. So they put your device in, they take a sister device out, right? But this is what I love about having truly unique products like the ChargeTab is it's not really replacing a power bank, right? They're completely different. You still may buy both of those for different reasons, but at the checkout stand, that impulse buy, it grows the cart value at Walmart or at Home Depot or others, and they love that, right? So you're growing revenue for every customer that goes in the store with truly unique products. There's challenges along the way, but it's the benefit of having something really unique like that, which is obviously something you've done incredibly well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's as mentioned, it's not cannibalizing existing sales. It's adding to sales and adding to it. And just getting back to your point about the branding and the name of the product. My thought originally was considering there was nothing really like this on the market, I wanted to be synonymous, as a Kleenex or as a Xerox. The product is the category. COVID slowed us down a bit. It certainly presented us challenges. The only thing that would really stop growth is if no one left their homes. And of course, that'll never happen, except it did happen. But since then, it's been exponential growth and things have really taken off.
That's fantastic. So, all right. It's been a Cinderella story. Nothing ever went wrong. Easy. Got into great retailers. So I'm sure you've had some hardships along the way. Anything you'd want to share that might be helpful for our listeners?
You have to celebrate the wins. Doing something like this, bootstrapping, and bringing something to market that either exists in a different class or doesn't exist at all, has a lot of headwinds, and you got to keep pushing forward. If you truly believe in the product and believe in what you're doing, you got to keep pushing forward and celebrate those wins when they come, and don't get too down on those lows when they happen, and they're going to happen. You're going to get setbacks on a daily basis, and you just have to manage the lows and manage the highs, and just keep pushing forward. If you believe in the product, if it's a product that you would buy yourself, or you would be happy if your loved ones would buy, then you got a winner. And believe in yourself, because you're going to get a lot of no's, and you just got to keep pushing forward.
Agreed. And I think that's such an important, really a reason that I like to do this podcast, is for our listeners and viewers to be able to meet founders, inventors, and product marketers, to hear the stories that, you only often look at the end of the story, right? You see the success, you see you on Home Depot shelves, Walmart shelves, and it all feels easy, right? But there's a journey along the way. And even when you're there, right, there's challenges at all times in really every business. That's part of the fun of it, I guess, is one way to say it, is, overcoming challenges in creative ways. You become a problem solver at the end of the day, but finding ways to get through it and keeping your head up and realizing that there is an end, right? And we just want to make sure that is a positive end, and that it grows. I do want to, before I ask you my last question, I want to jump back to how you mentioned how Home Depot, was it Home Depot or Walmart that originally found you? What was the first buyer?
Yeah, no, Walmart. Yeah.
So it's a great story. I think how you shared how, they saw you on social media, and it's such an important thing for people to realize. A lot will try to go directly into retail, because retail still works, right? It's, as you see, it's still a very powerful way to sell a product, combined with direct to consumer marketing, right? Both are great in their own right. But that direct to consumer, whether it's digital, back in the day, it was always TV, right? It still includes that sometimes. But driving awareness of a brand new product like this drives excitement, drives results, drives interest from buyers. But I think maybe most importantly, drives proof, right? So the buyer, if they happen to come across it and like, oh, this is a really cool product, and they find out they're the first one that saw it or reached out to you, and it's like, oh, no one's buying this. That's a different story than when they reach out and you've got some proof as well, showing results. They come in from a campaign. That retailers love to see that. And then it catapults, right? So you start with that, you get on the Walmart store shelves, and now you have got brick and mortar sales. Now you can take that into other retailers as well, and they start to see it they're doing competitive store checks all the time, looking for items to bring on to their own shelves, and it really catapults from there. But one of the great points to start with is that direct to consumer marketing, because your buyers at the end of the day are consumers. The wider you can cast that net, you're going to capture some of them eventually, but also having that true proof of concept. Well, is there, Mark, anything I didn't ask you that you think would be helpful for our audience?
Wow. Well, just getting on, touching on your point of the direct to consumer marketing. Being a bootstrap startup and not having unlimited funds, building a brand awareness campaign where you can't necessarily measure the metrics and measure conversions, but then you get an opportunity like my Walmart opportunity or others. You never know where that's going to lead. I guess my biggest piece of advice is, the longer you stay in the game, the greater your chances of success. The goal is to, keep your chips at the table and, try and stay. And longevity is the most important thing. If you could stay in the game as long as you can, success will come. As long as you're smart about it, it'll certainly come.
Great point. And, just to cement that home, I just listened to a podcast a couple of days ago. It was from a couple of weeks ago, that post, I just got around to it, from Joe Rogan. So the #1, I think, still podcast in the world. And somebody asked him a question I've never heard asked before. I don't listen to his show very often, but so maybe he says it all the time. But they asked him, how long did it take for you to be revenue positive, or at least profitability, or have profitability with your podcast? He said 5 years. Yeah. So he started in the early days of podcasting, and now it's, this crazy success. My understanding is, when he was just on Spotify, they paid him like $100 million to transfer over there. Yeah. All this great success. Whether you're a podcaster, a product marketer, whatever it is, it's just important to understand, as Mark, you just said, sticking with, when you've got something good, it can take time to turn a corner, and then you'll have that end result, that home run story to be able to share with others. But it does take some grit to stay with it, and some positivity, and an important team and supporters around you as well.
Absolutely.
Was there anything else you'd like to add, Mark?
Yeah, no, I like to say I'm an overnight success that took 6 years.
Well done. Yeah, true. Very true. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I know our audience, I'm sure they will enjoy this as well. Please go to ChargeTab.com, T-A-B as in boy at the end. We'll put it in the show notes as well. Check out this great product. It's available in retailers as well, so you can look for it there, but check out the website and learn more about it. Mark, thanks again for taking the time today.
Thanks, John. Good to see you.
Did you know you can meet with a member of my team absolutely free for a 30-minute strategy consultation? We've launched and grown hundreds of products since 2007 and learned some of our strategies while growing OxyClean back in the Billy Mays days. We're here to help, so please go to harvestgrowth.com and set up a call if you'd like to discuss further.